Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Move for a Movement. I have with me here Tal Kamin. She is the founder and director of We Are Queens, which is focused on female empowerment, specifically young women, through the art of dance.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being with me here, Tal, today.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Catherine, for inviting me to join. And I just can't wait to chat about all that is We Are Queens.
You're very passionate about what you do with the organization, which is beautiful. I love it. So yeah, just going right from the website, I have it written down here. We Are Queens is committed to cultivating an empire of kick-ass women through the arts. How did that mission evolve? How did that be?
Yeah, so We Are Queens was founded a year and a half ago. And it was always focused on this mission of bringing together women, spreading positivity, and just raising awareness for mental health. That was really the initial focus. And I think for me, myself, as a 20-year-old artist from the tri state area, having danced from the age of 2, I've just been so passionate about this art form and this industry. I have recognized a few stigmas that have really been challenging for myself as well as other dancers, ranging from the starving artist myth to the stigmas around having a plan B to a lot of just different mental health struggles that I've noticed a lot of performers go through. And I think at the root of We Are Queens, which for me symbolizes celebration, empowerment, strength, unity, there's really this mission to combat all these stigmas, to redefine a new future in the arts for artists, both through professional and personal development. But I think at the end of the day, just like you said, cultivate an empire of kick-ass women, women who can pave themselves a future as dancers that is both sustainable, that is united, that is empowered, and do so through an organization that started just a year and a half ago with a 30-day Instagram challenge, and now hosts workshops and college chapters and master classes around the world.
That's amazing. And I know you have a sort of grand vision of a representative at each university in the country.
Yes.
So that's an empire right there. It's just every college you go to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm curious about, well, you just were speaking about some of them, the workshops, classes, etc. Some of the initiatives and projects that the organization has done, your organization, We Are Queens, that you've done to cultivate that mission. Like, what does that look like specifically?
Absolutely. So our target audience is primarily college students passionate about dance. I think there's a really, really strong role that the college education explores for dancers who decide to do so, both through professional and personal development. And yeah, I feel there are a few holes for dancers specifically when they graduate, whether that be having a knowledge of some of the opportunities that exist outside of dance to help them have a sustainable career. And beyond that knowledge, just having the resources, whether that be a business resume, a LinkedIn, an understanding of networking, how to interview, et cetera. Those are things that I think are really important. And so within our college audience, I would say that the number one piece of programming that we have is sorority-like chapter models at 20 college campuses across the country at the moment. We're hoping to achieve 40 by this upcoming September of 2021. And the idea of these college chapters that follow a sorority-like model is that we have a main representative at each of these chapters. They undergo a 6-week workshop where we pass along all this mentorship. We bring in guest speakers, professionals in the field to share the wealth, and then ultimately they serve as the representative to further share that wealth on their college chapters with nationwide events to bring everyone together. Some of my favorite events that have taken place beyond this college chapter experience is a benefit concert that we hosted a year and a half ago in New York City, featuring 6 women choreographers and artists, and bringing people together to not only celebrate art and celebrate women in the arts, but also fundraise for our partner organization, She's the First. She's the First, an organization that We Are Queens is very proud to be collaborating with. They are a nonprofit that advocates for education equality for all across the world. And in partnering with them, we fundraise monthly through master classes, as well as other donations, so that we can feel that we're not only empowering ourselves, but truly commit to this vision and mission of redefining our future by advocating and fundraising for them as well outside of the United States and across the world. So that's something that I'm personally very passionate about as well. And I'm very excited for what's to come for We Are Queens beyond this college chapter initiative.
I love it. Yeah, and with that partner organization, that building an empire of kick-ass women goes way beyond college age dancers, because the data is very clear that what education does for women globally, in developing nations and in nations of all kind of situations wherever they are. It's powerful like few other things in society broadly. So if you're just specifically looking at empowering women, like that's through education.
Absolutely.
So there's this, we're going to empower ourselves as dancers, but women globally, that's part of it too, which I think is a beautiful kind of two-pronged approach.
Yes, thank you for saying that. And I think it's so important for us also in our own personal development to recognize that there's so much more beyond ourselves that we're working towards, not only as women, but also as artists, right? Our art and our mission is so much bigger than ourselves. And I think that by advocating, connecting to this organization that does so much across the world, it gives a sense of not only self-fulfillment, but I think more than that, a sense of impact, that we're going beyond the boundaries of our own dance studios and our own Zoom screens during these times, and affecting those beyond us.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part developmentally, being in college, just kind of learning so much more about the world and how things work, and like really getting this embodied internal sense of just how much beyond yourself there is out there. I know that was something for me, for sure. So that's, kind of a concrete, through partnering with an organization like She's the First, that's a concrete way to kind of channel that, because it can be kind of chaotic, and, like you talked about, their mental health impacts through that, just like, whoa, I'm living at home for the first time and there's all this coming at me. It's a way to channel all that in a constructive way.
Absolutely.
Sure. I love it. I was going to ask, when did We Are Queens start, but you've gone into that a little bit. I'm curious if you could speak to how the organization has evolved a little bit, because I know there's been sort of a honing of your vision, a kind of narrowing down. So if you could speak to that, I would love if you could describe that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it started when I was 18 in August of 2019. And I had just finished my first year at the University of Michigan, pursuing a dual degree in both dance and economics. So I am gaining a lot of fundamental knowledge within entrepreneurship and leading a business, et cetera. But I think at that point, really, it was not about that yet. It was genuinely just very much driven by a desire to bring women together and spread good. And I think just the results that I was seeing were very indicative of that. Within the first 24 hours of posting this challenge, that I'd like to talk about, because I think it's a very fundamental part to our organization. So this 30-day challenge that was initiated is called Bridging the Gap. And it's a challenge that I came up with to allow women to feel more confident and empowered in themselves, as well as just slow down within this reality that we live in. And so by bridging the gap, what we would do is every day we would share one thing we're grateful for the G, one affirmation for the A, and one thing we're proud of for the P. And doing so in a group with what ended up being about 700 women allowed us to not only feel that we're building ourselves up, but also building others up, especially within the stigma that we typically have in the industry of having to either put each other down or quote unquote beat each other at auditions, because there's a stigma that only one person can make it. So that's really where it started. And it wasn't until within those first 24 hours, I woke up with 50 DMs for girls asking to join all across the world. And 3 Broadway shows who had partnered in with us represented our mission by wearing our shirts and sharing that message on social media. It wasn't until then that I really opened up my eyes and recognized that I think there's something here that does not exist yet. I think there's a niche here where it comes to both personal and professional development for artists and specifically dancers that has yet to evolve. And so that's really where it started. And I think my passion for all of it is how we were able to bring so much to life very quickly. But it wasn't until about 6 or 7 months into everything that I recognized that I need to sit down and really think about the future of this organization. I recognize that I'm wanting to just help everyone, which is great. From a marketing perspective, we were trying to help everyone, brand to everyone. And when you're doing that, you're truly branding to no one because there's no niche, there's no focus. And so I decided to gather a team and recognize as much as I wanted to, I can't do it all by myself. Started recognizing my weaknesses and finding people who are similarly passionate about this mission and yet have strengths that maybe I don't have, and uniting them together and recognizing that there is a lot more that we can accomplish as a team. And so I think within that personal discovery, a lot more started going for We Are Queens. A lot of the artists involved, this is a fully artist driven nonprofit organization. We learned that there's a lot that we can learn as dancers by running a nonprofit, which is beyond some of the things that we experience just by training and performing, which is also so extremely valuable. So that has been a very, very great turning point. Right now, the executive team is comprised of about 20 women across the world. And within this strength in number as well, solidarity and community, we've been able to spread the message to over 1,000 plus women and artists across the world. We've recently connected with women in Canada, in Germany, in London, just all across the globe, which is very, very exciting. And honestly, the quote unquote secret to success that I see for this organization as we continue to move forward is really coming together and continuing to provide value to one another internally so that we can do so then externally. Because I think the more united and together that we feel as an organization, the more impact that we can have.
Yeah. And those nonprofit management skills, administration, like, that is out there in the dance world. There are so many ways to have a life in dance beyond on the stage. And these are things that need to be done for that work on the stage to happen. And it can be you're speaking about networking and these kind of realities about building a career in the arts. It can be like a catch-22. Well, like the job listing says, like, you need 2 years experience. And you're like, but I just got out of school. But if in school, you were doing that work, for a nonprofit organization, that's something right there. So I think that's
exactly
a service. That's something that you're building there for people on your team.
I think that's truly part of the business model. I think having those artists in our organization build the skills, whether that be within social media, within marketing, outreach, finances, writing grants, any of those skills that the different members have, that sets them up upon graduation if they decide to pursue a professional career in dance, instead of resorting to, I think, more of the stigmatized approach of waitressing or bartendering. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They now have these skills to potentially explore other part-time opportunities to help them pay the rent while they're auditioning. And I think that's how we start to redefine the future and change the stigma.
Yeah, thinking of sustainability, like, if you bartend and you dance and that works for you, awesome. But for a lot of dancers, they're like, that is way too much of my body. Like, I'm in 8 hours of rehearsal and then I come like,
right. Yeah.
So
and we also just have so much. Yeah, we have so much up here, so many transferable skills as dancers that I think we're sometimes afraid to employ because there's a stigma of a plan B. But that we're really trying to change that narrative.
Yep. Yeah. Cooperation, collaboration, the things that like literally happen in the studio, knowing when to speak and when not to speak. Discipline, like a healthy dose of, and in contemporary dance, but like when do you leave that discipline behind, and like that balance. All of those things are really essential professional skills. Like I don't
Yeah,
think anyone could disagree with that.
absolutely. Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, love it. So it's a little bit of the elephant in the room question. I think you spoke about it a little bit, but COVID, how good, so much fun. How has We Are Queens sort of shifted course,
Yeah.
kept making it work, shifted to keep the mission alive?
Totally. I think it really strengthened the mission, if I'm being honest with you. We sat down as a team as COVID hit and we asked ourselves, what do dancers need most right now? And the answer was really in front of us in the sense of connection. We needed community. We needed a platform to share, to network, to express. We needed resources. We needed mental health awareness, all of these things. And we asked ourselves, what can We Are Queens as a platform advocate for dancers to achieve these needs? And I think from that was where the college chapter initiative really stemmed from. And
Mhm.
all of these women who are involved in that, I have never met in real life. It's all been virtual. So I think it has absolutely opened a lot of doors for us, but I think it has also rooted our mission in more reality and more demand-based approach, which is something that I'm really passionate about. I don't
Yeah.
believe in providing resources and content just for the sake of doing it. I think it really needs to be driven by a need. And so I think it very much opened up our eyes throughout COVID to recognize that there's a need for that. And then just like on a tangible level, as soon as there had more information had been available through the CDC about proper protocols, we started continuing with our music video production process, where we create a very process-driven process where we unite dancers, choreographers, creative visionaries, and we bring a music video to life through around a 2 to 3 week process where we talk, we brainstorm, we allow everyone to have a voice. So it doesn't just feel like you're being told what to do. Everyone has a voice. We bring together a piece of audio. We really work on it together. We have someone bring in an idea. And so we've actually been able to continue doing so by following all social distancing guidelines, both virtually and in person over the last few months. And I think it has enabled us to feel more connected than ever because of some of the limitations that COVID has offered.
Love it. And what's given you light through it all? Because it's not been easy. What's kind of kept you going with Queens and otherwise?
Yeah, I think defining what success means for this organization,
Mhm. Right.
because I think it's very easy, especially nowadays, to look at success as the number of followers you have on Instagram or the amount of donations that you're getting from a class, which don't get me wrong, is all very important. But I think at the end of the day, thinking about the mission, every single time I hop into a Zoom call right now, and every single time I connect with someone, even right now, and thinking about if the mission is to cultivate an empire of kick ass women, that means that success is allowing one girl, one woman to leave a meeting, a workshop, a masterclass, anything like that, feeling more confident and more positive about herself than she did when she came in. I think for me, that is success. And that is something that I really
Mhm.
try to cherish and holler at for the rest of my team, because I think if we're able to look at the purpose and the impact that we're having, that's what allows us to keep going. That's what allows the mission to to redrive itself and not feel burnt out when sometimes we're doing things that can be challenging. So I think remembering that one extra smile, one extra dose of confidence, of positivity, of empowerment is really what it's all about.
Love that sort of fuel from the mission itself. Like
Yeah.
coming back to that, like why are we doing this with
Yeah, and also
everything?
being open to change. Exactly, and being open to change. The fact that this exact mission will always have its heart and the core in the organization, but it might evolve a little bit as we continue growing, and that's okay.
Well, without that, things can become stale or stagnant or, not
Yeah,
offer all they
yes.
can. Yeah. Yeah.
ab-
So, what is one thing? This is sort of a two-part question. What is one thing you are most proud of? And if it's hard to pick one, pick more than one. With We Are Queens. And two, what is one thing you are working towards? are working on, could be a growth area, could be like kind of the bigger vision, bigger goal, something to that effect.
Okay. I would say one thing that I'm really proud of is empowering my team, this team of 20 women that we have, empowering them to feel like this is a part of their life, and empowering them to feel that as a dancer and as an artist, we have so much to offer and we shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed of that and the stigmas that typically surround it. And I think that giving them that source of empowerment through We Are Queens, as well as through my own leadership, is something that I really take to heart. I really pride myself on leading by example and being open to learning. I always say at the beginning of every call, I say, if I make a mistake or if you have something to add, please correct me. This is a safe and liberating space. I don't know everything. No one knows everything. So I think having both that growth mindset as well as that dedication and commitment to my team is something that I'm very proud of. And then I would say something that we're working on is continuing to grow in both a sustainable and an empowered way. And when I say that, I mean continuing to develop our college chapter initiative through this ambassador program so that we can extend ideally to every single college campus in the country. That would be my dream. And when I say do this in a sustainable way, I mean continue being open to learning, to opening up our minds and understanding that there's always better ways to do things. And that means being open to recognizing that maybe a current strategy could be improved. And maybe a mentor, someone you're looking up to, can have a suggestion, idea, never being stuck in your own way. So that is something that I'm working on personally, as well as the team as a whole, as we think about growth and ensuring that we're doing so in a sustainable way.
Love it. That's all great. And to begin to wrap up, what is next for you? It could be for Queens. You've spoken about those sort of longer term goals of getting a representative on every campus, but maybe nearer term, if you have anything you want to let us know about, we should have on our radars, anything to that effect.
We're currently working on the development of a youth membership program, which would mean targeting students who are not yet in college, both in middle school and high school, who are starting to see some of the realities of what being a dancer and artist is. So that's something that we're very, very excited about, as well as some new collaborations and partnerships coming up with different dancers and professional artists currently in the industry, coming through with both mentorship and master classes, etc. So those are two things that we're very, very excited about. And of course, we love Catherine. As soon as we have more information, we will be sure to share.
Always happy to support. Always throws me things. Get this published. Like I can do my best. Yeah, wonderful. You're just so sort of clear in communicating all about this because you're so passionate that it's like I don't really have many follow-ups throughout. Yeah, is there anything else that you would like to say before we sign off?
I think just continuing with this mission that obviously We Are Queen stands for, but I think also I as a person stand for, which is leading with kindness, leading with confidence, leading with positivity in everything that we do, both as artists, but I think as human beings at the end of the day. Like I said, success is measured by, for me personally in the organization, by one person that we're able to empower. And I think and I hope that the people who are watching this and are really engaged with what we're talking about take away that we do really have the power to impact and influence and inspire other people, even just by sharing a smile. And that's something that I really wish to put out there.
Yeah, one could find hope in the sense of like human problems know, are the result of human behavior. So, human solutions are therefore possible. Like we have the power to create problems for ourselves and others. We also have the power to fix those. And like that might not be the exact right word, but like to make the situation.
Totally. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, which I think is what you're doing, in your own way.
Yeah,
Through we're and
absolutely.
everyone on your team.
I love that.
And seeing this need in your community, young
Mhm.
dancers, and
Yeah.
doing what you can to fulfill the need. And you noted that, like, making sure content, whatever you're putting out, is need based,
Yes.
and not just because you want to do it. Like, creating things because you want to do it, that's cool in its own sense, but in terms of having a mission and an organization,
Absolutely. Yes. You hit it
back
right
to
on.
that mission. I love that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining me today. I will put up all the social links and all the information so people can check out and get involved. Be Your Queens, join us. It's right there.
You got it.
You are, I think it's, you already are a queen or something like that. You already are us,
Join us
so join
because
us.
you're already one of us. There
Right.
we go.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If this conversation resonated with you, maybe share it. Someone else you think it might also resonate with. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff really helps the channel and more people who are interested learn about it. And we will see you next time. Bye everyone. Have a wonderful day.